Welcome to Bakes and Blenders. Today we're going to be getting to know your piping tips and how to use them to create different unique designs. In my mind, I categorize my piping tips into three categories: small, medium, and large. Nice and simple. Let's start by talking about our small piping tips. Some of my favorite small tips are petal tips, leaf tips, and a small round tip. Getting different designs out of the same piping tip is simply a matter of your wrist and hand movement. To practice these different piping movements, you can use a plate, a cake stand, or just put down some wax paper. Try as many different movements you can think of. Do plops, clockwise swirls, counterclockwise swirls, lines, try different angles, different positions. Just play around because every piping tip is going to be a little different. As you play around with your piping tips and get to know what the different shapes can do, you're going to see designs that are going to look good for putting on cupcakes or cakes. So just keep those in mind. You can also play around with different styles of borders that you might put on the bottom or top of a cake, or even add to a cupcake for more dimension. Now, if you're looking at all this and you're like, wait, how do I even prepare a piping bag? Good news for you, I have got a tutorial all about preparing, filling, and holding a piping bag, so check out the link on your screen right now, and I'll also put a link down below in the description box. The best part about this getting to know your piping tip technique is once you're all done, whether you like it or not, you can just scrape everything you just piped off your plate, off your cake stand, put it back in your bowl, remix it, and you're ready to do some more experimenting. Here you can see I did the exact same techniques, but instead of a star tip, I was using a round tip, and it gives you quite a different look. But with other tips, like this leaf tip, you can't really do those same designs, those same movements that I was doing before. So instead, I just tried positioning the tip in different directions, different pressure, and tried linking different leaves together. Just look at some of the things you can do with small piping tips. If you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see more of my videos. Let's move on and talk about our medium piping tips. Some of my favorite medium piping tips are the 1M, the 2D, and the 1A. Medium tips are great for adding larger design elements to cakes, like rope borders or large rosettes. They can also be very versatile when frosting cupcakes. For this tutorial, I'm just using the most basic American buttercream. I can put the link to the recipe down below. But if you're curious about learning more about the different types of buttercream, you can check out my video for my 5 favorite varieties of buttercream. I'll put that up on the screen and down below in the description box. Just like with the small piping tips, you want to practice different piping movements to create different looks, try different tips. In this case, you can see the difference between an open star tip and a closed star tip. They do look quite different. Getting to know your piping tips by just experimenting with different piping movements is a great idea. But I also suggest doing it more than once. You'll find that your different buttercreams, the different consistencies, and even how creative you're feeling that day will make a difference. The more often you practice and experiment with your piping tips, the more confident you'll get and the better your piping will become. Check out some of these examples of piping with a medium tip. You can find links to the products that I've used in the description box below this video. Now let's look at the large piping tips. My top 2 large piping tips are the Ateco 888 and the Ateco 869. I use large tips exclusively for frosting cupcakes. In my opinion, the Ateco 888 is the absolute GOAT of cupcake piping. These large piping tips can give you a lot of coverage with minimal effort. I find that for cupcakes, the amount of frosting you'll get with just a simple swirl with one of these large piping tips is the perfect cake to buttercream ratio. Do you have a favorite piping tip that I didn't mention in this video? Tell me about it in the comments section and let me know what you use it for. It can be so helpful to get to know all of your different piping tips and know what they're capable of. This will allow you to pipe with confidence and create fun, unique designs for your cakes, cupcakes, cookies, and so much more. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you. If you'd like to learn more about piping, buttercream, and everything cakes and cupcakes, check out the next video in the playlist. Thanks for watching and happy baking!